Hi, my name is Kyle Wimmer. I'm a teacher at Mountain Ranch High School in Westminster, Colorado. I found out about One Chance about a year ago, in December of 2023, when Henny from One Chance reached out to me. She saw some publications that I was in regarding the work I've been doing with youth for the last couple of years in terms of having dialogues and conversations non-punitively with students that are struggling, specifically with vape. And I'm aware that the next natural stepping stone for some of these kids is moving on to THC and to carts and things of that nature. So Henny reached out to me and we started talking about the things that I'm doing and what they're doing over there at One Chance also. And it was a breath of fresh air to find out that there are so many other resources out there in the world for kids that are struggling, as well as for the parents to be educated on the dangers of THC, marijuana, cannabis, all those things that are altering the chemical balance of the brains of these students. In terms of the work that One Chance is doing, it feels good knowing that it's not just me out there, because the more I started talking about my own personal story, my sobriety with my students, and having that dialogue with them and sharing with them that it's not easy to quit anything, being able to find other entities and other groups out there that are far more knowledgeable and professional than I am in terms of the resources that they have to offer these students and these parents was invaluable. I kind of felt like Po from Kung Fu Panda, realizing in one of those movies that he's not the only panda out there, that there's many other out there. So I look forward to sharing those stories with my students and pointing them in the direction of One Chance to Grow Up, because it truly is one chance to grow up. There is no reset button. One of my custodians here at the school, she shared an amazing story about her own sobriety, and the story that she gave us is, especially to the parents, that parents, you need to start learning about what pickle juice is, because cucumbers, your babies are born as cucumbers, and the moment they start taking or altering their lives with substances or with alcohol or with anything, they start to become pickles. And it does us no good to know anything about cucumbers anymore, because your babies are now pickles, and pickles don't go back to becoming cucumbers. So knowing that you only have one chance to grow up and being aware of that, I feel like there's two sides to this of, well, YOLO, I can go do what I want, but the smarter of us, the ones that have hit rock bottom, know that if we have a chance to help out the youth and make sure that they don't follow our path, that is by far the best gift that we have, by using our rock bottoms to talk to kids about the rights and wrongs and the do's and the don'ts. Unfortunately, I feel like life's best teacher is experiencing pain, and as much as we can talk and share and give stats and give data to kids, not just the parents but to the kids, they may not listen to us, and they may still do that thing. One of my students once told me that, Mr. Wimmer, you have to let us get worse before we get better. And that hurt, just because I knew it was true, but obviously I don't want them to get worse before they get better. I want to be there as a mediator between those two. With that being said, if they do get down a bad path or they hit a rock bottom, I'm here for them. One Chance to Grow Up is here for them, and I think that's very, very important to the kids know that it's not over. What I've been doing at my school, at Mountain Ranch High School, for the last couple of years is, again, having dialogues and conversations with students about addiction and about vaping and carts. I've had over 500 vapes turned into me in the last 2 school years of kids willingly coming up and wanting to stop and wanting to change. With that, over 20 carts have been turned to me as well, of students wanting to get rid of this thing out of their life. It is not easy. That's the first thing I tell students, is this will be the most difficult thing that you've ever done in your life, considering you've not had a very long life right now, but your brain has already been changed. The chemicals in the THC that's out and available to them right now. I blow their mind when I tell them that back in the day with Cheech and Chong, that THC, that psychoactive component in that marijuana and that cannabis was 2 to 8% THC. Students now are ingesting 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 98% THC, and that is extremely dangerous for their young age and their young brains to be developing and have this massive influx of this psychoactive drug that's just changing everything about them, and Nick also of coming in their brains and just cleaning house and kicking out everything that used to make them happy. those nicotinic receptors and the dopamine as they're chasing and thinking that these are the only things that's going to make them happy, That scares me, that they're not going to have the wherewithal to have resilience and have to have grit and to fight through low moments, or to make their happy moments happier. They feel the need to go chase after this thing, which I can't deny probably makes them feel better, but they're going to end up being crippled to it, enslaved to it, and crutched to it, and think that this is the only thing that's going to make them happy. It's the only thing that's going to get them out of this tough spot that they're in, and that's dangerous. Another teacher, friend of mine, told me something in relations to biodomes and how trees in biodomes can't survive, or they fall over easily because they never had the resilience of the wind pushing them back and forth to make their roots really strong below. And I get nervous for our kids because they are trees in biodomes right now. They just go to these substances with vapes or with carts or with cannabis, and they're being tricked and deceived by big marketing, big companies to continue down this path of using them. The more that we take a drug, the more that drug ends up taking us. And I want to just be a voice for my students, and I'm glad to know that One Chance to Grow Up is out there as well, that the more that we have, showing empathy and support and love for our kids in their worst moments as well as their best moments, I feel is invaluable. So again, thank you One Chance to Grow Up for having me on and letting me share my story a little bit. The kids are worth it.